Happy Wednesday. There we go. I think we are all connected. It looks like I'm connected to YouTube, connected to Facebook, and I am just waiting for some gals to join me today. Looks like I'm getting some hearts and thumbs up. And here come the comments now. So there's Bobby Ann from Cloudcroft, New Mexico. Well, hi, Bobby Ann. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing so many of you each week. I recognize the names, and it's just like seeing old friends. So just in case we haven't met before, my name's Noreen Smith. I am the Product Development Creative Manager for Creative Memories, and it's my pleasure each and every Wednesday to be with you and share some fast and fun project ideas with you. So it's a great job, and I'm super happy to share my time with you each and every week. There we go. We've got lots and lots of gals coming in. I think I saw Judy from Boston. Macon, Georgia's here. Ruby from Colorado's here. California's joining us. Illinois, New Hampshire. Lisa Marie's here from Edmonton. Welcome, welcome, Lisa Marie. There's Carmel from Brisbane. She's always on. Welcome. And somebody's doing a little hand wave for me. Upstate New York's here. Happy Wednesday to you too, Janice. Good to see you. Deborah's here from Wisconsin. Sue from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Gail is here from New Zealand. Someone's saying hi from Maine, Illinois, South Carolina, Florida, Las Vegas, Rhode Island, Wisconsin, and London, Ontario. Another fellow Canuck there. There's Kim from London. So welcome to everybody. Today we are going to talk about keeping those kiddos who are probably either out on summer break or very close to it. I know that in many parts of the U.S., school is done or it's finishing up this week. My kids and most of the kids in Alberta still go to the end of June. So, and I know lots of places are kind of in between. So some kids are already out for summer. We know that our friends in Australia are not out on summer break. They're coming, I think, into their winter term, actually. But hopefully they've got some time to scrapbook with their kiddos, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you are one of the parents, the grandparents, the babysitters, the kids camp counselors, a caregiver, a community program leader, if you are any of those things and you have some kids that you want to help keep them occupied this summer, I've got a bunch of good ideas here for you, because at Creative Memories we decided to offer a kids camp kit that is appropriate for boys and girls, and you can tailor it to a lot of different age groups, and because we want to see the kids get started with scrapbooking. And again, if you are a scrapbooker, you may not kind of have an idea of how you want to get your kids involved, but we're here to help. So not only have we got the kids camp kits that I'm going to share with you, we've also got some ideas beyond the kits, as well as support and resources for you. So we're going to have a jam-packed time together today, and hopefully you'll take away a few ideas of how you can get your kids that you care for, grandkids, nieces, nephews, that kind of thing, involved in your favorite hobby over the summer. Okay? So we've got, a few more comments coming in. There's Sharon joining us from the UK, Texas, Youngsville, Louisiana, I think. New Zealand, winter there for sure. I'd love to know if you guys have a winter break, any kinds of holidays over that time period at all. And Maria from Ontario is saying their kids get out at the end of June as well. So we're coming in at different times, but hopefully these are ideas you can use either whenever it's your summer or whenever your kids have a break. Okay? I'm going to flip you over here so that you can see what's on my table, and we're going to talk about the kids camp kit. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some other materials that are great for using with kids. And then we're actually going to create an entire 8x8 album together. And if you are watching on Facebook, you are going to find the link to our 8x8 fast album formula instruction sheet in the description above this video. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to find it in the description below this video. So make sure you're looking for that, because this is what we're going to be using. And many of you remember last fall, end of October, beginning of November, we started playing around with the 8x8 Fast album formula to use for our December Days album. So now we're going to repurpose it, come back to it, introduce people who haven't seen it before, and we're going to use it for our kids' summer albums. Okay, so we're going to make an entire album together today. Well, I may not get it adhered, but we're going to get all the pieces cut. We're going to talk about arranging it, and I'm going to show you a sample. Okay, so let me flip you over here. Oops, there we go. Yeah, I think we're good. And as I mentioned, we are going to talk first about the kids camp kits. Now, this particular product that you're going to see, some of you may sort of recognize it. It's part of our Super Duper boy and girl line. And when we launched the new paper albums earlier this year, we decided to create some artwork based on Super Duper Boy and Girl and create a little 8x8 album for boys and girls. So these 8x8 paper albums have proved to be so super popular with kids groups, again, little class activities, club activities, all of that kind of thing, because they're so easy to add pictures to, and they turn out great, right? They're already pre-printed for you, so all you're doing is adding your photos. Look, isn't that fun? And they're super fast to get done, and it's just the right size for kids. So I'm loving these, and by the looks of them flying off the shelves, you guys are loving them too. Okay, so each of the kids camp kits comes with one of the Super Duper albums, paper albums, so either the girl or the boy. And I'll just mention to you, because I have seen a couple of comments, they are printed for us with this cover. So you can just go ahead and loosen the staples with the flat end or the spatula end of your multi-purpose tool. I can't get it through there just because I'm not looking at it close enough. But just take that front cover off by loosening the staple, and then you can just have the album itself. Okay, and if you're going to do this with kids, I'd recommend that you actually take off the covers just so they have their albums ready to go. So let's pretend that I've already taken off my covers, and that's what our Super Duper Girl and Super Duper Boy paper albums look like. Then it's also going to come with the coordinating stickers. And these are great because they are sized for 8x8 pages. So it's perfect use for them. So we've got the boy with a sheet of the icons. Love that dinosaur, thumbs up, you know, the little trucks, fries, lots and lots of different sayings, and then a sheet of borders. And then the girls' sticker sheet has fun icons like rainbows and butterflies. I love the little bugs there, a little camera with a heart, and a unicorn. So we've got lots of great sayings, and then again, borders. Okay, so girl and boy. Then both kits come with some tape chips, and these are just little pieces of adhesive. You just peel off the backing, and those are little pre-cut pieces of adhesive to help them adhere their photos. And they're also going to get a repositionable tape runner. And I'll talk about that in a minute, because you're going to need it when you create all the fun little things with the mini shape trio punches here. So in the kit, you're going to get a little character building idea sheet for using with the piece by piece mini trio punch set. Now I've had this one for a few years now, and I reach for it again and again. So we've got a little star, we've got the hearts and a couple of different sizes of circles, little half moon, and then we've got this sort of petal shape. And so on the character building ideas sheet, you can see how you can make lots of fun little bugs, a rocket, little pets and animals, flowers, all kinds of different things. So once you show the kids how to work the punch, just unlocking it here on the back, and then just punching it by inserting a piece of paper into the punch and flipping it over to get the fun shapes. They are going to use all of these fun colors of cardstock, little 4x4-inch pieces of cardstock, and they're going to start punching and creating all of these characters to add to their albums. This alone is a great activity. They're going to be, working on this for hours at a time and coming up with incredible little designs and characters. They're going to have so much fun with it. So the repositionable adhesive is important for that because you're going to need the little repositionable adhesive to add all of your little punched shapes together. So just do another one there. And I can just adhere them. And then maybe that's going to be my little butterfly or something. So both types of adhesives are important. And you can talk to your kids or the kids that you're working with about what each adhesive is used for. And we've got a full sheet of instructions on the back as well. So, and we've written it in kid-friendly language, so those kids who are old enough and can read it on their own, they're going to have no trouble following the instructions. And if you're working with younger kids, you're going to be able to tell them these instructions. So basically cutting their photos the size and shape they want. They can use scissors. They love to fussy cut. You don't have to have any special trimmers or tools. If you have a paper trimmer, you can show them how it works, especially for older kids, but you definitely don't need it. It also just gives you a brief instruction about how to use the tape chips and how to punch out lots of shapes with the mini trio punches, and then just really encourages them to write. Now you'll want to have some pens available, either the little micron pens or the dual tip pens, and we'll talk about those again in a little bit later. But you'll want to encourage them to write. And it's great to see their handwriting. It's great to see them tell the story. Encourage them to not worry about spelling mistakes or being afraid to write things down. Just let them go with it and tell the stories. We've put here, tell stories about your photos or write down the names of the people in the pictures. And the only thing that we've kind of reminded them to do is write on the pages and not on the photos. So that's one of the things that they might do. They might write on the photos themselves. And then finish by adding stickers. They can just take them literally off the sticker backing, stick them down. If you are a foam square lover, you might want to show them how they can add those foam squares to their pages, but they don't need them. Everything they need is right in the kit. So it is a fun activity. They are going to have such a great time. And we've got a few ideas on the sheet there as to what the arrangements could be. But let them just go to town. Some of them are going to cut their photos like into little funny shapes. They're going to fussy cut their photos. They're going to plaster all kinds of photos over these and just add lots and lots of fun embellishments. So let them do whatever it is they want to do with their album. I always say there's no wrong way to scrapbook. So let them go and just go for it. Just be there to support them. Give them lots of encouragement. They're going to have a great time. So an activity like this with the kids camp kits could take, an afternoon, or you could do it over a couple of different times. Maybe they're going to come and kind of arrange their photos, and then they're going to come back another time. Maybe they come to Grandma and Grandpa's once a week or something like that, or you want to spread this activity over a couple of days. You can certainly do that. Now, once they've finished their albums, there's a couple of things you can do. Of course, you could get other albums. We have school themed albums, birthday. We've got kind of neutral albums that they could put, outdoor photos in. There's so many different kinds of paper albums, and they could continue working in those. But one of the things that they could do is actually cut apart these pages and start their own little 8x8 album. So if you have shared your albums with the kids, they probably are familiar with Creative Memories albums. And they would love to have their own little album to put all of their pages and photos in. So you can treat these almost like individual Fast to Fab pages and just cut them apart. And then you're going to slide them into the 8x8 side loading pocket pages. And they could get, there's 16 in here. So they could get a couple of different albums in there. They can also just create some of their own pages because, of course, they come with the inserts, the white cardstock inserts, so they can make some pages for themselves. And of course, some of them would be keen to go ahead and actually create larger pages. So there is also the Super Duper Boy and Super Duper Girl 12x12 tone on tone paper pack. So if you've got some older kids that especially are keen on making some pages, cutting paper, that kind of thing, think about getting the full size 12x12 Super Duper Boy and Girl. And you can also get additional stickers on the website. So creativememories.com.com/au or .ca. Okay, so quite a few different options. And before we move on to doing the album, which we're going to spend the rest of our time together on, I just want to remind you that if you have teens, you might want to consider doing these kinds of activities with the tie-dye designer paper pack and the You Got This stickers and embellishments, because these are chock full of everything that teens are into. So we've got, coffee, we've got technology, we've got music, we've got, great things, new adventures, teenagers, BFFs, living my best life, game night, sneakers, all kinds of fun things. Notebook edge borders. Aren't these cute? I really like these. Look at this. Let me just pull one off here for a second. So when you pull this off, it looks like a little notebook border, like a ripped page from a notebook. So there's so many fun things in the You Got This, and I feel like it gets forgotten about. But if you have some older kids, preteens or even older that are expressing interest in doing something like this, look at the You Got This, because it is so much fun. And there's just lots and lots that they can do with this. Look at all those great little enamels in that pack. So just a plug, don't forget the teens. There is something for them. And of course, they may not want the kind of more kid-like 8x8 album, but don't forget that we always have the ruby, now I'm going to forget the colors, ruby, cobalt, chocolate, and ebony. So there's bound to be an 8x8 album color that they would like. So they can do this too. All right, so let me just move this off to the side. And actually, before I move that, I want to talk to you about these albums. But aren't these fun? These little cardstock pieces measure 4x4, and they come in all of the CM colors, all of our custom colors. So they get one of each. And as I mentioned, they can use them to punch, or they could actually use them as little photo mats as well. So very, very versatile. All right, so now that we've kind of looked at the kids camp, let's just talk quickly about these albums. And I've already made this one up with our 8x8 fast formula, and we're going to make this one up together today. So these are the two new albums that we created for kids to coordinate with Super Duper and the kids camp bundles. So let me grab my names here. So this is 8x8 Vivid Blue Diamond Fun. So you can see these kind of little hand-drawn diamonds. And it's a vivid blue color with the green and orange foil. And then this one is called Jazzberry Blissful Butterflies. I had to check my little labels there to make sure I got the right names. But aren't these fun? Great for kids. Great for, lots of different things that they can put in them. Okay, so this is the one we're going to do in a few minutes, but let's take a look at how an album that they're going to put together might look. And remember, and I see a question, so I'll address that now. We are going to use the 8x8 fast album formula to complete this album. And we are going to use the album itself, one pack of either the Super Duper Girl, Super Duper Boy, or the You Got This that we just talked about. And we are going to create an entire album in about an hour. It took me about an hour to cut and assemble this album this afternoon for you. So if you haven't already got a copy of this, if you are on Facebook, again, you're looking above this video in the description. If you're on YouTube, you're looking below in the description, and the link is there. Okay, so let's take a look. This doesn't have any photos in it, doesn't have any embellishments in it. But again, an hour to put this together, to cut and assemble. And we've just got some great base pages here featuring all of the different colors from the Super Duper Girl. I love that turquoise and pink together. It's just so fun and bright. And I've just gone ahead and literally attached the pieces of paper that we're going to cut to the inserts. So you can choose pages or pocket pages. I happen to have pocket pages on hand because that's what I use personally. But of course, you can go ahead and use the pages and then adhere the pieces directly to the white pages. And I love this look because it gives them lots of room to write, and it gives them lots of room to add extra photos. So they can come along and add a little photo here, but they can also trim another photo and add it anywhere else. And after they create their pages, again, they just slip inside these side loading pocket sleeves, pocket pages. So it's really easy for them to do. Now I've gone ahead and basically created each of the spreads that you're seeing totally based on the spreads that are in the handout. So we're going to do our cutting together, and then let me just go back here and show you. So this is the first spread, and I've repeated that second part of the spread on the back page. Then there's our second spread, our third spread. Let's move on here, turn the page. You already saw these ones, but our fourth spread, the fifth one, and the sixth one. And then I've just started again. So again, here's number one done with different papers, number two, number three, 4, 5, and 6, and then there's the back page. So one pack of 12 by 12 paper, cut and assembled according to the 8x8 fast formula, and one package of the pocket pages or refill pages will complete your album. And truly, you can do it in about an hour. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it with the Super Duper Boy. You can always come back and look at that later. Now, where did I leave my papers? I've got the the covers there, but I put the papers aside. So I've gone ahead and I've taken out all of my inserts. So these are the 8x8 cardstock inserts that come inside the pockets when you purchase them. Okay, so I've taken them all out, and that's what we're going to use for our pages. Now, it's great because you can do this with absolutely any 12 by 12 paper pack. And I'm seeing a comment right now. I love this formula. I've used it for gifts and also did a beginner class with it. So yeah, it's a great little formula to have tucked up your sleeve. It's great for a gift album. It's great for a little event. You know, maybe you went to an event, you don't have quite enough pictures for a full 12 by 12. This is a great thing to use. Okay, we are going to cut each and every paper in our 12 by 12 paper pack, all 12 of them, according to this cutting guide. We're going to get 2 4x6 photo mats, 2 8x4 strips, and 2 8x2 inch strips. And you can see when you look, now that you know the measurements, you can see when you look at the 6 different spreads that we've got there, 6 different sketches, each of them uses the 8x4 and the 8x2 paper strips kind of as the decorative base, and then the 4x6s are used to mat the photos, and in some cases you're going to cut those 4x6s in half so that you can get 2 photos there, 3x4s or 4x3s. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this. And again, there's lots of instructions here, lots of tips, so go ahead and read those if you need. And here's my take on this. I know that many times I say, check the directions, check the, for if there's a pattern that goes a certain way, and, be careful before you cut. In this case, I know that with the exception of a couple of the patterns that go horizontally, all of them are considered overall patterns. So I'm okay to cut them. I'm also okay even if they are upside down or sideways, because we're going to use these pieces both horizontally and vertically. So some of them are going to be sideways, and that's going to be okay because it's all going to be super fun and bright and cheery. And let's face it, the kids are going to have such a good time. They are not going to care if one of these lightning bolts, for example, is going sideways or even upside down. Okay? I also like to cut my papers 2 at a time. I'll cut the same 2 patterns exactly the same. That's partly for speed, but it's also because when I match them up again, all of the pieces that are cut from those papers will be the same size. So it does make a little bit more cohesive and consistent sizes. All right, so you ready? Let's see how long it takes. I'm looking at my clock. I'm at 27 minutes after the hour. We're going to cut once at 4, turn it and cut that into 2 4x6s. Then turn the paper that's remaining, cut at 4, cut at 4, cut at 2. So basically we're going to do this 6 times. There's my 4 inches. Turn and cut. And then I'm going to keep all of the same size pieces in little piles. So I'm going to put all of my 4x6s together. Now I have a sheet that's 8x12. I'm going to turn it, cut it at 4, cut it at 4 again. There's the beginnings of my 8x4 pile. And then my last cut is at 2. And there's the first couple of pieces in my 8x2 pile. Okay, so now let's go to the next papers. Same thing. Cut at 4. And after you start cutting, you could even, stack more pieces if you like, and you'll just get super fast at this. So 4x6s. I'm going to turn and cut at 4. And again at 4. And then at 2. And I know that some of you have been asking, I had mentioned that we do plan on coming up with a 12x12 fast album formula and a happy album sized fast album formula. So you haven't missed them. We have not done those. We do have plans for them. We're just kind of scanning the horizon and looking ahead to see when it's best to offer those. So they will be coming, never fear. But in the meantime, you can make as many 8x8 albums as you like. All right, we're back to the 8x4s. And I have to admit that this afternoon, when I was cutting, I got distracted and I cut this last piece into 2 4x4s. You can just use those in another way. So yeah, I went like this and I cut it in half at 4 as opposed to cutting it into 2 long strips. So even if the kids make some mistakes, they're going to find ways to use the pieces that they cut. We're getting down to it here. So I see it's 30 minutes past the hour now. So I've been at this for about 3 minutes, talking all the while. I'm sure if you are focused on your cutting, you're going to be able to do this a little bit quicker even. Some 8x4s again. And 8x2s. I think we've got 2 more sets to cut. Yeah. And I haven't even looked at the other pattern on the opposite side. So again, it really doesn't matter because you're going to be using some of these pieces horizontally and some of these pieces vertically. So it really doesn't matter which direction you cut them because some might be sideways or upside down, no matter what. All right, coming down to it here. My little piles are growing, and it is a good idea to keep everything in their little piles because we're going to set aside the 4x6s until after we have our pages kind of put together. And then we can add our 4x6s because remember, they're like the photo mats, the photo spots. All right, last piece here. Now, once you get all of the pieces cut, and again, if you're working with littler kids, you might want to cut all of these pieces ahead of time just for ease, or maybe you're a little bit worried about them using the trimmer. But I'll just remind you too that our 12-inch trimmer is amazing because the blade is not exposed. So until they actually put it in the housing and push down on it, can you see the blade coming out there? I don't know if you can see it. There it is. So until the blade housing pushes down on this little button, when you push down to cut, the blade stays tucked away. So there's no way that they can cut themselves unless they're, really fooling around with that. So it is quite a good, safe trimmer for them to use. Okay, so we've got all of the cutting done. And oops, throwing things on the floor here. And we can go through this and just start exactly following the sketches, or again, when kids have all of these fun pieces of paper, they are going to go wild and crazy. Some of them might like to go through their paper and say, okay, I really like that blue and I definitely want to make sure I use it with this aqua. So some kids might want to kind of take some time at the beginning and start organizing their papers. Others are just going to start and each page is going to look completely different. Now, you will need your tape runner adhesive for this. Remember that in the kids camp kits, it comes with tape chips for the photos and then the repositionable for the little pieces, but you will need to provide the kids with some tape runner adhesive for to put these paper pieces together. So I actually started with the large piece. I'm going to actually go back and adhere my small piece first. And I'm just doing it based on what I see here. So I'm just going to go ahead on my first page here and adhere that down. I'll move it off to the side so you can see it a little bit better. And then my 8x4 over top. Okay, so that's my first page done. And then I would just flip it over and then continue with my next spread. I'm going to save the same pieces that I used on the front for my back page. So I'm just going to put those at the end. All right, let's look at something else. Let's choose a yellow. Okay, and now we're going to go on to this spread. So here's what I mean. So my yellow diagonal, or my yellow, what are they called? Lightning bolts might be going sideways here. Okay, so I'm going to choose that. Then I'm going to go through and, I like that yellow and orange together. So I'm just going to take my 8x2-inch strips and I'm going to create my page, my second layout, just like that. Okay, so I'm not going to stop and adhere them now, but let's just go through and create all of the different spreads together. All right, my third one, I've got the band of color going across the middle. Why don't we use these fun eyeballs? And those can go across the middle. And then maybe I'm going to have this black and white sort of check. Now you see how, because we cut them both at the same time, when I put them on the page, they will kind of have a bit of a cohesive look. So that's going to be my layout number 3. All right, now layout number 4 is 2 across the, well, it's going to span the middle of the page, but strip across the top and then the bigger strip in the middle. Let's look, oh, how about that black? And then we can make a brighter color up at the top here. Maybe that's blue. We've got another blue, I think. Yeah, how about this blue? Okay, so blue pattern there. There we go. So that's going to be my layout number 4. And then moving on to layout number 5, you can see how quickly these will all come together. Love this sort of turquoise color. So that's going to go down across the bottom. And then let's maybe choose maybe some of these orange dots, white and orange dots. And they're going to go along the side. So that's layout number 5. And let's do one more, and then you would basically just start and start again at the beginning. So this one's just a little bit different. We're going to take the large 8x4. Where's the other one of that same color? Oh, I put it over here. Don't ask me why. And that one's going to go across the side, one's going to go across the bottom. And then we're going to take a contrasting strip and we're going to lay it right on top. And the reason for this is that now I have room for 2 4x4 inch photos here. Let me just get one of my little cards to show you how that's going to fit together. Okay, so leaving that amount of space will let you put in 2 4x4 photos there. Okay, so that is layout number 6, and then you would just start all over again. You have enough pieces to go through all 6 layouts twice. Okay, so again, if you think back to when I was flipping through the album that I already made, there was the first one, and then here is where I started and went back to number 1. So because there are going to be different colors and patterns, they're all going to look different. But again, the kids might decide that they want to arrange things differently. So let them do that if they want. Now, once they have all of these adhered, and for some kids that's going to be a quick process, other kids that might take quite a while. Once they have them adhered, then they can come back and start adding the 4x6 photo mats. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of options here. So let's go back to this layout, because this one actually takes 2 4x6 photo mats and we're going to cut them in half. So I'm going to take these 2 blue ones and I'm going to cut them in half so that they are, I've got 4 3x4s. And then now I can go ahead and arrange those little smaller photo mats. So even though we cut 4x6 photo mats, they can go ahead and cut them down even further so that they can get more small photos onto their pages. Okay, so that would be layout number or sketch number 5 right there. All right, but otherwise, for most of the layouts, let's go back a couple of pages here. Flip this all back. So for most of these pages, all they're going to need to do is to add the 4x6 inch photo mats. Okay, so they can again adjust as needed and go through and add all of the photo mats that they want. Okay, now when they are finished adding all the photo mats, there will actually be 4 4x6s left. And that's great because again, they could make smaller mats. You know, there could be, remember how we cut some 4x6s? So they could cut a couple more 4x6 and they could fit those 4x6s into some of these additional spaces. Or if they already had the kids camp kit and they had those punches, then they can use the extra paper, the 4x6 paper, to actually punch some shapes and create little, additional fun things for their to decorate their album. Okay. Now, if they don't have photos, you can give them a little piece of either little sticky notes or a little pencil, and they could just write on here the size that's recommended to go on top of each of these little photo mats. And you'll find the photo sizes right on the sketches as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach this, but I think, think about the age of the kids that you're working with. Talk to them a little bit about what they might want to put in their album. And some kids won't even have any printed photos. So they might be making this, and then another time when they get together with you, you can sit down and look at some of the photos that they might want to add in. Other kids will bring a bunch of photos. They won't even be interested in using photo mats. They'll just look at the fun, pretty paper that's on the pages, and they'll just add their photos wherever they want. So allow them to kind of take the lead and determine what's going to be best for them, what they like the most. Okay? And yeah, somebody's saying, so cute, my nieces will love this. I agree. I think, it's so much fun to have these bright, fun, colorful pages and to encourage them to put their photos down. Again, we know that kids today, some of them have never even held a printed photo. They're so used to looking at photos on their phones or sharing photos with their friends, taking photos on their phones, and then they think that that's where photos live. So getting some photos actually printed and putting them onto these pages and then encouraging them to do some writing. Now, I've got a couple of other little ideas for you. Speaking of writing, I would really encourage you to get out your Creative Memories pens. Now, I've just pulled the ones that we have colors for right now. So we've got these 5 fun colors. We've got black and brown and navy. So all of those will work. And then we've got silver and gold, which would be great as an accent on some of the dark papers. And then we've got the black, brown, and navy micro tips. So that might be a little bit fine for the kids to work with. But if you give them these pens, they will have a ball. And if you by any chance have any dot tip pens, get those out and allow them to go to town. They're going to add little doodles, and they're going to add little dots and swirls and colors all over the place. And it's going to be the most fun they've had with paper and pens and photos in a long time. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere all of the pieces that I was kind of showing you, and I'm going to put that into the Vivid Blue Diamonds album. Just again, slide those finished pages right into the pockets, and then I'll film, probably tomorrow, I'll film a quick little overview, flip through of the pages once they're all done. And I will go ahead, now that I've shown you the stickers, as they look, because I only had one set of each. So now that I've shown these to you, I will go ahead and decorate some of these pages so that you can get an idea of what your finished albums might look like. Okay. So again, don't forget to go and download, keep it on your computer or print off a copy, whatever's easiest for you. One of the things I like to do is actually, when I've downloaded a PDF like this, I like to open it in iBooks on my iPad or on my iPhone. And then I actually can flip through it just like I would a book. So if you like to save things digitally, but you want to have easy access to them, think about doing that. But again, if you're watching on Facebook right now, you're going to go above this video to the description. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to look below this video in the description. But grab yourself a copy of that fast album formula, and you're going to be able to make lots and lots and lots of these fun little 8x8 albums. Okay? Sorry, my finger got in the way there. But isn't that fun? And again, 5 minutes, I forgot to look up, but we were at about 3 minutes when we were halfway through. So 5 or 6 minutes to cut all of the papers needed, and then just going through and arranging those paper pieces onto the pages. You can definitely do that quickly if it needs to be done quickly, or you can stretch it and allow the kids to have as much time as they want for that. So I was an art teacher for almost 30 years and at various levels. So I've taught all the way K through 12. And I know that different kids are going to react differently to this. Some kids, again, are going to worry so much about making a mistake. So your job in that case is just to encourage them, to remind them that it's going to look beautiful no matter what they do. And some kids are just going to go straight ahead and do whatever they feel like. And your job there is to just praise them and say, wow, that is so creative and so fun. I know that many of you who have been scrapbooking for many years will sort of feel yourself tightening up, and you'll say, oh, but that's not the way to do it, or oh, that's too much tape runner, or things like that. So, approach it from the perspective of these guys are little beginners, and you may have to give them a few hints along the way, but allow them to have fun, to play, to really experiment and explore the materials. And you might just find that you've got some brand new scrapbookers on your hands that might start loving this hobby as much as you do. And they might just take off for them. They might want to go on and do another album, another 8x8 album. They might also want to start doing some larger pages. So it can definitely be an ongoing thing. All right. So I'm excited to see what happens for you with scrapbooking with your kiddos this summer. Now, I will finish up by saying, if you have no desire to actually, scrapbook with a group of kids, no worries. I want you to go to the Creative Memories website for your area, creativememories.com.com/au or .ca, and I want you to, excuse me, I want you to look for find an event. The event locator is going to actually pop up, and you can put in your area. You can search for events in your area, because we have so many Creative Memories advisors who are offering these types of kids camps for you for the summer. So you don't even have to show your kids all of this. You can simply contact the advisor who's doing the event, pay whatever the fee is, probably includes some of the materials, the time, etc. And you can send the kids off to do these kinds of fun activities. So definitely weigh your options. If you don't want to work with the kids, that's totally fine. There is most likely a Creative Memories advisor close to you who is excited to do so. And if you love working with kids, and maybe you do this with your own kids and you want to do it with more, you want to do it with the Girl Scout group, and you want to do it with your friends' kids, and you want to do it with, the neighbors' kids and the scout group that meets, across the town or whatever, you definitely might want to consider becoming a Creative Memories advisor yourself, so that you can offer these kids camps to, groups of kids, community groups, etc. And they are going to love you for it. So if you are interested in that, make sure you look at the Advisor Join tab on your Creative Memories website, okay, that serves your country. Okay, well, I'm excited to see what happens with all of these. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of kids' albums being shared. Not only the paper albums, but 8x8 albums, and even larger albums that are going to be created by kids throughout the summer. And I know that you're all going to have a great, great time. Okay, so remember to kind of keep an eye out, and I will film a little flip through of both of those finished albums, probably by the time I finish them, film it and edit it and get it up. It might not be until closer to the weekend, but definitely keep an eye out for that, okay? Now, next week, we are going to go back to Borders. We're going to have a Border Maker Frenzy, and we are going to play with our Border Maker systems, cardstock and paper and all kinds of collections. And I'm going to give you some formulas for for beautiful borders every time. So I don't have a fast album formula, so to speak, for borders, but we're going to talk about some tried and true ways that you can create easy and fun, fast and fun borders. All right, so that is next Wednesday, I don't even know what the date's going to be. May 31st, Wednesday, May 31st, 5 p.m. Central Time, right here on the Creative Memories Facebook, Virtual Crop Facebook group, and on the Creative Memories YouTube channel. And I always make sure to remind you guys, make sure you go over and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and a member of the Virtual Crop Facebook group, because you don't want to miss anything that goes on either platform. Okay? All right. Someone's saying buzz you later. So have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday. And get ready for summer and thinking about what you're going to do with those kiddos in the meantime. All right. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.